Hey guys, how you doing? It's Taylor from Retro Game Trader. As retro gaming is becoming more and more popular, unfortunately we all have to look out for one thing. It's really unfortunate because you might have a fake game in your collection and don't even know it, and you try to trade it into a game store and they can't take that either. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. So hopefully these tips and tricks today that I'll show you will help you spot a fake GBA game out in the wild if you don't know. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The most important thing to check on a real legit GBA game is the machine stamp. So every single real GBA game will have a machine stamp on it, either a couple of numbers or letters from the alphabet. And as you can see on this fake game here, there is no stamp at all, which means it's a reproduction label. And if you're having a hard time finding this stuff, it'll always be in the bottom right corner. Okay, something to also check is to read what it says on the cartridge itself. It'll always say Game Boy Advance on a real cartridge. As you can see here, laughably enough, this says Game Cassette. Yeah, Nintendo would never do that, so make sure you check that. Yeah, so just make sure you check the actual casing itself. If it feels cheap and looks cheap, yeah, you might want to take a second look. Something else to point out are the screws. Every Nintendo game that was legit had these tri-tip screws here, which is like 3 points. Something else to check for is the labels. Look how clean it is. Check out the fonts. Look at how it's cropped here. That is a real label, and you can tell by looking at a fake one. Look how stretched the image is, and look how loose this is. You can see here, a fake cartridge label will have different colors, different contrast, stuff like that. Always compare it to an image online if you don't have one on hand. Okay, here's what a real GBA game looks like on the inside. Let's pop open a fake one now. Oh lord. Okay, lots of problems here. Here's something to immediately look out for. Every legit copy of any game by Nintendo has their name stamped on the actual chip itself. Here's the fake one. No Nintendo writing, no stamp here at all. Okay, here's something else to check, and that is the size of the chips. Look how normal this looks, and look how incredibly huge this one is. So chips that are huge or super tiny is a red flag too as well. Batteries too. Now, batteries were only used in GBA to do real-time events, like Pokemon. This keeps a internal clock going for the actual game to unlock secrets and Easter eggs or other items that you would need. But a game like Superman would never really need a battery, so that's a big red flag too. Well, here's something to note as well. If you have a fake Pokemon game, you're not going to be able to trade, swap, or migrate any of your Pokemon between cartridges or systems. So make sure you always check a list online of what actual Nintendo GBA games had real batteries inside of them. Also, be careful of the coloration of the chips. It should always be this Game Boy looking green here. If you pop open a game and you see one is bright red, bright orange, that's a reproduction cartridge. All right guys, here's a kind of strange one. As you can see on the fake here, there's this big pile of black goop. This is what in the industry is called a blob chip, and what it really is, it's basically a liquid version of electrical tape. In other manufacturers and other chips across the world, this is used for a purpose. It's meant to actually protect the soldering points, and even Nintendo themselves has put this sort of a blob chip on certain cartridges in their games in the past, but this is really not used like ever. You can really count on your fingers how many actual games Nintendo use with this sort of formula. 99.9% of this stuff is going to be fake on an actual GBA cartridge. So in short, yes, Nintendo has used this in the past, but going forward, you don't want to see this on your chips. You also don't want to see a chip with any wires in it. That is a dead giveaway that that's a fake. Nintendo never had to use any sort of cables inside their cartridges, so yeah. Like also having fake chips and fake insides might make the game work, but it doesn't mean that it'll last. There is a great chance that when you're using a fake cartridge, that'll actually die faster than most games. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for checking this out. I hope this helped you in your search for finding fake games out in the wild. And if you have any other clues or ideas or facts that you can share with us on how you spotted a fake game, please leave it in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and there'll be more videos coming soon. Have a good day, guys. Thanks. Bye.